Welcome to He Said, She Said at the movies. We hope you didn't forget about us, but with Michella being on vacation and then getting sick and just being an all-around diva, the movies had to take a back seat, but I'm glad you're back, Michella. And if I'm rusty, it's Michella's fault. So that's all I want to say.
Sorry, it's all my fault, yes. This week we went to see Sin City, A Dame to Kill For, the sequel to the 2005 hit based on Frank Miller's graphic novels. Once again tells several different stories, some connected, some not. Joseph Gordon-Levitt plays a gambler who wins a card game but nearly loses his life. Mickey Rourke, Jessica Alba, and others also reprise their roles as citizens of the city soaked in scandal. Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a mouthful.
Ryan, how did you like this movie?
I liked it. I wish it wasn't a property that existed just to give Jessica Alba and Mickey Rourke something to do every 9 years. But, you know, I thought it was really good. I mean, it was more of the same. It was pretty much, you know, if it isn't broke, don't fix it. That was the strategy. The filming style still feels innovative. I know it's been copycat, you know, all over the place, and there's been a lot of redundant films kind of mocking this style of cinema, but I think it's cool, and I think when it's on, it's really on, and it's so over the top, it's so brash, it's so disgusting, but that's what you know, you bought when you read the graphic novel Sin City by Frank Miller. So I mean, this is a really faithful adaptation of that. There's so many great stories. They kind of combine a few. I'm really showing my nerdism here, but by my Sin City folklore. But you know, it's strong stuff, and the acting is really good. And Mickey Rourke, I poke fun at him. You know, I think he actually looks better in the makeup than he does in real life. But you know, like, he's a good actor, and he's really having the time of his life playing this role as Marv. And Jessica Alba, who seems to not be able to do the most basic line reads in any other movie, is somehow great here. Once again, she was great in the first movie, so I think there's a lot to like. I'd give it a matinee if I had to come down to it, just because it felt like a movie that should have been released back in like 2008. The first movie came out in 2005, so we're 9 years later, and I think we kind of like forgot about this property. It's not to say that it's not a good one, but I just think they should have made them a little bit closer together. It's not the type of property, in my opinion, that has a big enough fan base to sustain 9 years. So
yeah.
But Michelle, what about you?
Makes sense. I wasn't too excited to see this movie right off the bat. I will admit that. The sequel, though, I think stands alone. I've not seen the first Sin City.
Of course it stands alone. You haven't seen the first one. All right, continue.
But I do plan on watching it because you were kind enough to let me borrow your DVD, so
I
will watch it. So going into any movie, you've got to take it for what it's worth, as you were saying. And this movie did, I believe, do what the filmmakers intended it to do. It's a story of Sin City, corruption, revenge, sex, gambling, murder. It's a dark movie, and the film noir feel is definitely enhanced by the filming effects. Since this is a black and white movie, the little bit of color here and there definitely doesn't go unnoticed by the audience. Maybe the most obvious is the green, envious eyes of a woman named Ava, the Dame to Kill For. She's a beautiful sociopath who uses men to her advantage. There are a lot of symbols. If you look for them in this film, you'll recognize a lot of the actors that we mentioned, and the acting was good. Each character has his or her own sad story, which all intertwine for the most part. This is not a feel-good film. There is no moral takeaway. It is entertaining, though. Maybe not the type of movie I'd gravitate to normally, but I did enjoy this more than I thought, actually. The film definitely earns its R rating, for sure. The violence can be a little much at times and is graphic. Was it all necessary? No, I don't think so. That aside, I could even argue I may have liked this film more than if I had seen the first, because I haven't seen a movie quite like this. In the film, Sin City seems to have a hold on everyone in it. No one is immune. Power and money are what they're all after, and darkness seems to be everywhere. A dark graphic novel on the big screen is essentially what this is. It's a movie that you have to be in the mood for. If you are, go to a matinee or rent it when it comes to DVD.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with a lot of those points. They certainly didn't need to worry about Ava Green's wardrobe changes in this movie, because there weren't any. She's wearing like no clothing throughout the entire movie. Not that she looks bad. I mean, I kind of wish I looked like, never mind. We want to let parents know this is about as hard an R rating as you'll ever see at the movies. It's not for kids. Let me repeat. It's not for kids at all. Graphic language, violence, nudity, and sexuality means this is for people 17 and older, no exceptions. Not that I can really stop you. You said there was like an 11-year-old kid.
There was. I was shocked.
I actually think 17 might be too young to see this movie.
Definitely
I really
agree.
think this is for adults 21 and over.
Yes.
I wish there was a stipulation on the R rating. I wish we had an R17 and over and an R21 and over, because the NC-17 rating pretty much eliminates any audience because the theater's not going to show it. So I think we need to maybe get a little more specific when it comes to giving a movie that R rating.
Yeah,
So
I agree. Be sure to check out our full review online. Just head over to WSLS.com and please join us next week for our review of The November Man, starring former James Bond star Pierce Brosnan.
I don't know why you would believe us. We promised so many movies that we were going to see, and we tease ahead. We should almost just throw in, like, we're going to see Cats and Dogs 2, Revenge of Kitty Galore next week. Just throw in some random movie. All right, we'll see you then. Enjoy your Labor Day weekend.